Climate change has sparked up plenty of controversy over the years. Oftentimes, people associate climate change with global warming. While the two can be associated with one another, global warming is just one aspect of climate change. Climate change refers to any significant change in the measures of climate lasting for an extended period of time. This includes precipitation, temperature, and wind patterns. Some changes in climate are out of human control, but others can be prevented. Today I'm going to discuss why the climate is changing, how climate change has affected and affects certain regions, particularly in the United States, and lastly, what we can do to slow down and prevent the effects of climate change. According to EPA.gov, Earth's average temperature has risen by 1.4 degrees Fahrenheit over the past century and is projected to rise another 2 to 11.5 degrees Fahrenheit over the next 100 years. Small changes in the average temperature of the planet can translate to large and potentially dangerous shifts in climate and weather. Since the 20th century, studies show that the majority of climate change is contributed from greenhouse gas emissions. The greenhouse effect became known in the mid-1700s and involves human activities that have affected climate change and increased heat-trapping gases in the atmosphere. In reference to EPA.gov, the primary human activity affecting the amount and rate of climate change is greenhouse gas emissions from the burning of fossil fuels. Greenhouse gases include, but are not limited to, carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, and methane. The greenhouse effect is necessary to support life on Earth, but because it causes the atmosphere to retain heat, the buildup of greenhouse gases can be dangerous to the Earth's climate and result in dangerous effects to humans and ecosystems. Changes in the sun involving its reflectivity and intensity and changes in the Earth's orbit have also contributed to climate change. Aerosols such as black carbon, amongst others, play a role in climate change as well. Aerosols have the power to reflect sunlight, change cloud formation and precipitation rate, and also affect the cooling and the warming of the Earth. Whether we like it or not, climate change is happening all around the world and impacts regions differently. According to BBC.com, China and the United States together produce around 45% of global carbon emissions. From our wildlife and our oceans to our cities and our homes, climate change is taking place. Natural habitats are being disrupted due to climate change. This could potentially increase the rate of extinction in various animals and plants. Glaciers are melting, as well as regions of Antarctica. To add, Arctic regions have been experiencing the warming effects quicker than other regions because of climate change. Just last week, according to CNBC.com, Antarctica hit a record-breaking high of 63.5 degrees Fahrenheit. There have also been reports of rising sea levels and sea surface temperatures. Rising sea surface temperatures will make for more intense hurricanes, and a rise in sea level will contribute to coastal erosion and land loss. Nature will not be the only thing affected by coastal erosion and land loss. This will create a huge issue for beachfront cities as well as they will lose millions of dollars because of this. Higher temperatures will also lead to an increase in drought affecting crops, forests, air quality, and water resources. According to NRDC.org, in 2002, Colorado, Arizona, and Oregon endured their worst wildfire seasons ever. That same year, drought created severe dust storms in Montana, Colorado, and Kansas, and the floods caused hundreds of millions of dollars in damage in Texas, Montana, and North Dakota. Since the early 1950s, snow accumulation has declined by 60%, and winter seasons have shortened in some areas of the Cascade Range of Oregon and Washington. While an increase in snowfall may increase potential growing seasons in certain areas, the aftermath is simply outrageous. Money, damage to nature, and danger to ourselves, there is plenty that we can do to lessen our contributions to climate change. According to EPA.gov, Earth's temperature is a balancing act, and its temperature depends on the balance between energy entering and leaving the planet's system. In other words, our lives are connected to the climate. While climate change is natural, human actions also affect it. Greenhouse gas emissions occur both naturally and unnaturally via humans. The choices that we make and how we recycle and treat the environment can make a huge impact on climate change and reduce our carbon footprints. Plenty of federal agencies have already begun taking preventative measures in reducing greenhouse gas pollution and helping communities prepare for climate change. Industries such as the auto industry and power plants are making efforts to reduce pollution by making things like hybrid cars and more green efficient electricity generators. That being said, There are a lot of things that we can do to reduce climate change. Not only can they save us money, but they can also improve our health. Activities such as walking, biking, or carpooling to work and other places reduce carbon emissions. In reference to daviddazuki.org, eating low on the food chain, at least one meat-free meal a day, will reduce the greenhouse gas emissions that come from meat and dairy production. In growing or buying organically grown vegetables and avoiding processed food, we can not only reduce greenhouse gas emissions, but we can also improve our health and slim our waste. Another tip from daviddazuki.org suggests to keep stuff out of landfills by composting kitchen scraps, garden trimmings, and recycling paper, plastic, metal, and glass. To add to this, Hillsborough Waste Management offers bins that can be collected weekly for recyclables. Also, we can take advantage of the recyclable grocery bags that they offer at places like Publix and ditch the plastic bags. These are just a couple of examples of things that we can do to reduce carbon emissions and recycle. Overall, climate change is inevitable and has continued to affect regions everywhere. While some of it is natural, there are plenty of preventative measures that we can take to minimize our contributions to it. Being aware of the negative effects of climate change is just one small step in creating a greener America and world. For more information on climate change and how to prevent it, you can visit epa.gov/climatechange. Thank you.